Is this thing on? Attention, attention, y'all. Hey freaking flies, welcome back to another video on the channel. I'm Brandon, I'm the guy who flies. Currently on a layover, but really a day off here in Milan right now. It is the last day of 2023. Happy New Year to you all. And I am sitting down because it is time to film my flying recap for the year, which sounds amazing because this year we went back to the sky, so there's actually flying to recap, unlike last year. Last year was given real slight. Speaking of which, there is a whole playlist of these videos on the channel because we're not new to this, we're true to this.
I've been trying to make my wallet fold all day. Cashing in my dreams, big payout. Underneath my money tree, big shade.
Sitting down today, let's talk about our flying. Let's get into the things. I went back to flying towards the spring, end of spring, beginning of summer. So this is not actually a full year worth of flying in terms of a recap. However, we do have a significant chunk of the year. It was a lot more flying than I actually thought I did when I sat down to figure out all of the stats. You all know I use the app Roster Buster to track my flying. Been with this app for quite a while now. At this point, hit me up for a sponsorship because at the top of the year, January, I was not a flight attendant. I was waiting to go to training. February, I was still not a flight attendant. I was waiting to go to training. March, okay, I became a flight attendant because I went to training in March. I started my 6-week training at the very end of March. If you're new here, I do fly for a European carrier. I am a solely international flight attendant. I only fly international flights. I do not do any domestic flying. My 6-week training was in my base, which is JFK. There were a couple of times that we did go to London for part of our training, so all of that was captured. I did weekly vlogs during training just to kind of update you all along the way and kind of get you back acclimated to flight attendant Brandon. In May, yay, we graduated. The first Friday of May, we were officially back on the line. In May, I worked 2 trips, one of those trips being my familiarization flight, which is very similar to your IOE. Yeah, it was a slight month, so I only had like 33 hours because I only had those 2 trips that month. And in June, we worked 4 trips. That was a total of 73 hours. So I was like, show me the money. Fun fact, because I work for a European carrier and we fall under the European regulations of EASA, our flying is capped at 900 hours per year. Rules to prevent, over abuse of crew. We cannot work more than 900 block hours a year. And so when you kind of divide up the 12 months of the year, that's pretty much averaging around 75-ish hours a month. And there is a limit per month. I think we can't cross 100 hours in the month either. I did 73 hours in June. So I was like, okay, this looks good. All right, July. At this point, we are in the heat of summer flying, which comes with everything that summer flying comes with. It also comes with commuter woes because at the time, I was still living in Miami and I was commuting to my base at JFK. But in July, I managed to build a fantastic schedule that had 3 long trips. They were 6-day trips, but it was 3 long trips, and that was 85 hours. Less commuting, more money. Roll into August. August was August. I worked 5 trips in August, and I got 90 hours. So if you see the trend, the hours were going up and up and up because I knew that they were slowly going to start going down and down and down. But yeah, August was cool. In September, I worked 4. Yes. In September, I worked 4 trips, and apparently they must have been short trips because we only did 75 hours. Very much a chill month. Oh, partially because I took off time because we went to go see Beyonce. That's what happened. October was officially the end of the summer season. Calendar is split into the winter and the summer. So in the summertime, we're really heavy. Lots of flying, lots of destinations as a commercial airline. In the wintertime, less flying commercially, increase in things like charters and things like that. October was officially the end of our summer flying season. In October, I worked 5 trips, and that was a total of 80 hours. And then in November, we were officially in our winter flying season. I was also in the process of moving-ish. If you know, you know. There's a whole playlist, multiple videos on the channel around the moving debacle. But I eventually did soft move to New York City, so no more commuting. And in November, we worked 3 trips, which was a total of like 31 hours. And to close out the year, currently where we are now, December, I worked 4 trips. There was 3 regular trips, and then the trip that I'm on right now, which is my extended charter trip. So 4 trips total, a total of 65 hours this month in December to close out the year. I'm gonna go into my stats right now, but I want you all, like I ask every year, go ahead and drop down in the comments and let me know which city or destination do you think I visited the most this year? Because I'm about to get into some numbers, so this right here is for all my this is for all my statisticians. I don't know what was about to come out of my mouth, but it was not the correct word. Let's talk stats. In 2023, I got the numbers right here because there's no way I'm gonna remember this. I worked 61 flights. That was a total of 239,720 miles flown. I worked a total of 8 routes. I was in 8 airports and I was in 6 countries. Amongst all that flying, block hours behind the door were 532 hours for the year. So I definitely came well under my limit of 900. However, that was a total of 1,100 hours on duty. Duty being the time you sign in, you fly, the time you release. So a lot, almost double the amount of time that I actually worked, I was on duty. Training also counts towards duty hours, so there was that too. Amongst the flights that I worked, the longest flight was a flight from Rome to JFK, which blocked in at exactly 10 hours. The shortest flight I worked was actually a flight from New York to Paris that blocked in at 7 hours and 35 minutes. And now, did you comment below the route you think I worked the most? The options were JFK to Paris, JFK to Berlin, JFK to Rome. I can go ahead and tell you now, London is not it. Because I only did 2 trips, and those were deadheads. So London does not count, and although our company is based in Oslo, Norway, I did not work any flights to Oslo this year. So Rome, Paris, Berlin were the choices, or those were the places I worked. I'm not going to count Milan or La Romana in the Dominican Republic because that's charter, so yeah, we're not going to include those. The top route I worked this year, let's give it up for the rest of the routes. In 4th place, it was London, twice. 3rd place, Berlin, 13 times. Then came Rome, 18 times, with our winner being Paris with 27 times flown. Should I be speaking French by now? Oui, oui. Okay. But yes, that is it. JFK to Paris was the top route of 2023. A few things that happened this year. Wow, crazy year. I fell in love working in the back of the plane. If you've been on the channel for a while, I was somebody who was always in front. Put me in the front, put me in the front. I hated the back. Never worked in the back at the animal plane by choice. Always in the front. Once we got that seniority up, put me in the front. Now, put me in the back. Put me in the back, put me in the back. We have 8 positions on our, well actually we have like 11 positions, but most of the time we have like 8 or 9 positions working on our flights. Well, one of them is the purser, so that one doesn't count. One right, I only worked that one a handful of times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times. 2 left, only once. Once, never wanted to be there. That's the boarding door. Never. I don't want to be there anymore. 2 right, I thought that was going to be my favorite position. It's not for me. So I'd probably work 2 right maybe 10 or so times. 3 left, once. It was a chop. 3 right, I probably did that one as many times as I worked premium, so maybe like 5 times. Because in the beginning, that's a very position to kind of like get your feet wet. So I got put there a lot in the beginning. But yeah, after I got a taste of the back, I also don't care for 3 right because that jump seat sits like right in front of the exit row. So going to JFK, which is where I'm based at, which is like every flight, you be sitting there just waiting and waiting and waiting, either to take off or land and trying to taxi to the gate, and then you just sitting there like, So 3 doors are really not my thing. 4 left, I like it because it's the aft galley. I've probably done it like 5 or so times. But 4 right, that is my jam. Let me be aft galley. Let me just stand back there like someone's grandma watching me just send out cart after cart and just Go feed the people. I just sit back there, you know, working my little easy bake oven, feeding the masses. They be bringing me back carts, and then I push them back out. Take this cart, go. Drinks carts, go. Food carts, meal carts, go. Trash carts, go. Stand back there and watch it all unfold. That is my jam. Also, an interesting thing to note, I was never called a single time while on standby. So I have some days I'm on reserve, which is a 10-hour call out. Never was called. And then I have some days which I'm on standby. That is a 3-hour call out to report to the airport. Never was called. I made it 8 months and I was never called on reserve. A lot of that was me hustling to get rid of them reserve days and pick up them trips. You know, I was out here like... Lastly, my attendance was pretty good this year. You know, we had a little issue with that in the past at the previous airline. We're not bringing that energy over here. So I was late twice, and not late in the sense that it impacted the operation. No, just like this was the time I was supposed to meet the crew, and I wasn't there at that time, but I met them like at the gate. So by the time they got through security and got to the gate, I was like shortly behind them. Y'all remember that one time I had struggled and I was in Philly and I ended up having to take that Uber for $200 from Philly airport to JFK? Never want to go through that again. So I was only late twice. I never called out from a single shift. Never called out sick. Never called out commuter. Never called out. And I never no-showed. So there was no point when I was scheduled to work and I did not show up. We showed up for everything we were scheduled to show up for this year. And it might not seem like a lot to somebody listening, but to me, you did that, kid. That's that. That is our flying for, what year is this? 2023. We're saying goodbye to you. We're getting ready to usher in 2024. This will be, knock on wood, this ain't even real wood, but this will be a full year of flying. 12 months at the new airline, and I think this will also mark me no longer saying the new airline, because at this point it's just the airline. I'm Brandon, I'm a guy who flies, and I will see you all the next time, which is in a minute. In the current vlog I'm still filming. Yeah, later.
No, it goes by.